and the Who's right down to the final whistle.
Well, they beat them in 2019. High Point beat Duke and Virginia, two ACC foes. How do they do it? Well, they don't back down. This is the challenger that steps in the ring and goes for it. They're going to try to take Duke's head off tonight by throwing haymakers. They will not just try to keep this one close, Chris.
We're underway here at Durham. High Point winning the draw, and that's something to keep an eye on as the Panthers have used 8 different players to take draws this year. So that's a good sign, winning the first draw, but then turning it over right away back to Duke. Here comes Caputo. Will Duke try for early offense? They do, and they score. Joe Robertson, the rejuvenated one, gets Duke on the board early.
Tell you, Duke will make you pay for a turnover in the middle of the field. Caputo with the run out, and Robertson right now can't miss. This kid's shooting stroke, he is on fire lately. He's had 7 against Air Force, 3 against Towson, 4 against Mercer. Man, he hits. Look at the shooting percentage. He hits his mid-range shots by painting the corners.
Missed all of last year with the injury. First 2 games of this year, and he has just picked up right where he left off, adding to what Sowers brings to the table. Brennan O'Neill. That could go on and on with the talent of this Duke team, and we will. Another draw won by High Point. Will they try and go quickly? They do. Shot, though, by Mahia. Goes a little bit wide. Panthers will keep possession.
Asher Nolting, he's the star of this High Point offense. He's behind the goal right now, number 32, with their gorgeous old school. There he is, black mesh jerseys and the purple caps. They're up-tempo style. It's fun to watch. They like to push the ball in transition.
Little sartorial style with those mesh jerseys. Love them. This is Kevin Rogers. He gets to the goal. Mike Adler was there for the stop. And Duke wins the race to the sideline to get possession.
A good test for the Duke defense. I spoke to their defensive coordinator, Ronnie Caputo, earlier this morning, and they're putting up good numbers, Duke's D. The last 3 games, they've only given up, 7, 7, and 6 goals against. But High Point offers more of a challenge. What you're going to see from Duke tonight, waves of midfielders, some young, some old. They will test Chris Cotter as a play-by-play man. And overall, you're seeing the John Danowski discipline and structure installed. They usually start slow and build on just a solid, a brick-like foundation in terms of their fundamentals.
Yeah, got to have my roster handy tonight with Duke. They will play a lot of players. Another turnover on their own end of the field for High Point. And High Point is going to need to make the most of their opportunities. Turning the ball right back over to this offense is not in the game plan. Charlie O'Connor, number 48. Interesting to see him. Freshman getting some time for Coach Danowski, and part of that is he's got some injury issues, but he's got a lot of depth. So these freshmen who are very highly recruited, on a lot of teams you don't see that many of them just because there's so much depth, but on this Duke team you'll see them tonight. Sowers turns the corner, fires a shot on Parker Green, who's getting the nod tonight in goal for High Point. Here comes O'Neill. Can't miss big old number 34. Montgomery, he's having an outstanding start to his season after a slow start last year before COVID cancellation. Here's O'Neill with a short stick on him. He blows by him easily, but Green is there to make the stop.
Everything but the finish from the big freshman 34. Took that one off the foot of Parker Green. A good stop. Green coming off a very strong effort in Charlottesville last weekend against Virginia. He was outstanding in that close loss.
High Point clears it with 5 seconds to spare. Again, that shot clock goes to 80 seconds. Team has to clear it past the midfield line by the time the clock hits 60. Dalton Solver out of Dallas, Texas. Gets by his man, decides to go behind the cage. Here's Devin Buckshot. Coach Torpy says he's finally close to 100% as Kevin Rogers fires it wide. He'll stay with High Point. There's a look at Kevin Rogers, D3 Player of the Year at Lynchburg.
High Point's starting six offers a lot of versatility, different shapes and sizes, different strengths. Some guys are good shooters, other guys are fast. They really complement each other.
This guy's big, strong, can shoot, can pass. Asher Nolting couldn't handle that offering, though, and it'll be yet another turnover.
That was the issue late in that Virginia game. Now you hear High Point's bench. Could be a 10-man ride with an empty High Point net.
JT Giles Harris with the long pass. Sowers thought about attacking, now back to X.
Chris, that was an excellent clear by Duke against the High Point ride, the full court press. And Duke's going to see that against Carolina and Virginia in the ACC.
PJ Peters was D'ing up O'Neal. Turnover by the Blue Devils. Looks like High Point wants to get out and run. This is Accra. D-Mitty, he slows it down. Coach Torpy's going to make some changes.
Well, important that High Point keeps the Duke offensive midfielders on the field right now. See 51 Dyson Williams? He's really an attackman. That's a matchup if you're High Point you've got to capitalize on.
Here's Nolting looking to possibly come off that pick. Defender falls down and Nolting makes him pay.
This is exceptional strategy by High Point. They take the matchup behind the cage. That's called a big little pick. You've got a short stick midfielder and a defender involved in that pick action. And unfortunately for Duke, the defender just loses his edge, stepping on the metal behind the goal. And Nolting's got a free look from about 3 yards.
Loses his edge. Hockey reference there. I like it. Kenny Brower falling down right on the crease, tripped over that crease line. And Nolting now has a 43-game point scoring streak alive and well. Duke wins their first face-off of the night.
Chris, you mentioned Nakai Montgomery, 15 with the white jersey, left side of your screen. He's having a great, an incredible year when you watch the tape.
There's Robertson scoring again.
He can't miss. Senior from St. Anne's Belfield missed a year with an ACL. He's got a work ethic, unquestioned. He's nearly hit 50 goals 2 times in his career. He had 48 back in 2018, 42 in 2019. He is a pro shooter. This guy will play pro lacrosse. He's got the IQ and the savvy on the inside to find the bubbles in the defense, to find those gaps in those spaces. And then he converts. He keeps it pretty simple.
Shot wide, it'll stay with Duke. Dan O'Connell, the transfer, making draws for Dino. We talked to him just a couple of days ago, Q, and he was very happy with Jake Naso, the true freshman's play over these last couple of years at that dot. But so far, we haven't seen him. Wonder if we have an injury situation there.
I think O'Connell, with the rules changes, no more motorcycle grip. I think it's been a little bit of a transition for him.
Sowers now looking to come upfield. That's Montgomery, couldn't handle the pass. Duke a little unsure of themselves, it looks like here, early going on the offensive end. Third turnover for the Blue Devils. Nolting with the head up.
Interesting.
Second midfield unit on now for High Point. Sorry about that, Q.
JT Giles Harris is not covering Asher Nolting. 43. Brower is the lefty.
Nolting touching it briefly behind the cage, now at front. That's Hunter Vines. Back to his left. Tried to feed down low. It stays with High Point.
Man-to-man defense from Duke. Real tight splits, though. See how they're packing the interior with their bodies.
Nolting trying to come upfield and turn the corner. Back to his right. And just missed the cage. Maea wins the race to the end line. It'll stay with High Point.
There's Kenny Brower. That was nice right there. The Duke bench loved that.
Good move to get 3 by Russell. Just 2 seconds to shoot, and Vines puts a shot right on net. And that'll stay with High Point as he was able to beat the shot clock. And Adler was there to make the save, but High Point will retain possession at fresh 80.
Adler fought that off. It's natural grass surface. It looks like it's packed down pretty hard. And that ball took a pretty wicked ricochet off the ground. It was a nice stop by Adler.
Solver trying to take advantage of the short stick. Now the slide comes back to Rogers. Rogers has Forsoli on him. Forsoli's missed a couple of games with injury, so he's back. Rogers got free, though, with the right scores.
Head and his eyes, Chris. He doesn't look where he's shooting. He doesn't telegraph it. He usually gives you like subtle eye and head fakes to goaltenders.
Dan O'Connell winning the draw for Duke. He's taken all of their draws so far in this game.
Goalies are reading body language of shooters. If you telegraph a shot, that is by staring your location and then shooting exactly where you're looking, you make a goalie's job a lot easier. O'Neill's got sophistication in his release already.
Coach talking about the chemistry that attack line is building. So Dyson Williams, who had been out for a couple of games, is back, and he's going to be running out of the midfield a lot with this man right here, Nakai Montgomery. He fires right-handed. There's Green to make the stop.
Nice save by Green on the level changer from Nakai Montgomery, who was looking to be the party starter there. I think Nakai was expecting the double team to show up. It didn't. So he released that mid-ranger.
Now Coach Torpy making his changes on his offensive personnel. Hunter Vines on the field along with Kevin Rogers.
It's a great
Dalton
line.
Solver.
Great line. Solver's the powerful Texan. Rogers is the veteran. Vines is the speedster.
Not a great possession that time, though. Another turnover. That's 4 against High Point. Precision cleared by Duke.
But Coach Janowski told us 2 days ago, one of the key focal points in this game was, dealing with High Point's full court press, their 10-man ride.
Here's Aiden Denenza, one of those freshmen getting some time. To Caputo. Switches to his left and scores.
He is so shifty. I thought he had a great 2020 season before the pandemic hit. Swimming, left on an island on that left wing. The lefty, great change of direction. You cannot cover Owen Caputo with a midfielder and leave him on an island without help. That is a double team.
That's 5 face-offs in a row now. Dan O'Connell got off to a slow start tonight, but he has certainly picked things up for the Blue Devils.
Chris, we saw Caputo twice in person last year down in Durham in games against, Air Force and Richmond. Really kind of grow up and make that step from a freshman to a sophomore midfielder.
Well, remember, Coach Stanowski was trying to figure out his midfield situation first month of the season last year. And he had Nakai, that group kind of running out of the second team. And as you mentioned, Montgomery has really gotten off to a great start this year. Now Sowers. That's Lowry. Lowry will fire and score. This is what we were talking about. We're going to go way down the roster here tonight. And a lot of Blue Devils are putting their names in the tally sheet so far.
Grad school student, a veteran. This guy has run a ton of shifts in his career. When I talk about Duke's fundamentals and their discipline, it shows up in their shooting. An overhand release through a closeout. And this is a tough shot. He was challenged there at the point of release with a guy right in his face. But he changes the level and shoots towards one of the lower corners, making that the most difficult save for the goaltender.
4th different goal scorer for Duke. Try for quick offense on the face-off win. But Mike Adler was there to make the stop.
Duke coaches shooting and practice every day. They really hammer down the fundamentals of your footwork, your hand placement, what locations are going to be best for you in a certain shot, and they drill it and rep it and practice it and coach it, and it shows up on game day.
Then ends to the true freshman. Slide comes. Now back up top to Caputo. Shorty on him again. Almost got underneath Clothier, but Clothier was able to close the gap. C51 Devin Williams.
That's a problem right there, that matchup.
Williams tried to make him pay, just losing it. Now gets it back in front and scores.
Dyson Williams now playing midfield for Duke on that lefty wing. O'Neal draws the eyes of the defense. A nice dish to Williams. Initially, High Point's defense, great job, but the loose ball in front. This is a Canadian, Dyson Williams. They are used to rebounds and scraps around the cage. The sophomore out of Hill Academy. Sincere and humble and highly productive. Number 3 recruit in his class.
And think about it, he was really coming on last year. He got off to a slow start first couple of games. Then he exploded. Now you have COVID cancellation. And then you have Sowers transferring in. Robertson healthy again. He's got to find a way to get onto the field, and he's doing it by running out of the box. Naso taking that draw. So now we're seeing Jake Naso, the true freshman, and he won it for Duke. But a turnover gives it back to High Point.
About a 60-yard pass off the mark. Interesting talking to John Torpy about these ACC games. This is their 4th, okay? They played Carolina twice, played Virginia once. Now they're an honorary member of the ACC this year. They said these games for us are truth serum, and I love that. They'll be revealing. We'll find out what we can and can't do when we enter play in the SoCon. And this team in Richmond are the clear-cut favorites in the SoCon this year.
That's Solver, one of the team captains out of Texas. Rolls back to the cage. Can't beat Adler. Look at Adler running out. Shovels it ahead. Nice look. Now Duke will look to move. We're going to get a pole goal. We'll get a shot. Can't get through. A lot of junk in front. Now Sowers. It's unsettled. This is what he likes. Flag down on the field. This will be a delayed call, but it's a goal. Let's see. Hold on. Duke celebrating. Now the officials want to talk things over. Looked like Tyler Carpenter was able to find the back of the net.
It was Carpenter from Sowers. A High Point defender had to leave the field. You see the stick right there, just bent in half. He left the field. It looked like Carpenter was around that stick initially and maybe had stepped in the crease, but the refs didn't blow the whistle, so it looks like this goal was going to count.
Now they've taken it off the board.
No goal. Black 31. Interference. Technical foul.
Jake Joy is going to be called for interference here, number 31. You see him here in the lower right of your screen.
Yeah, he checks the stick out of Carpenter.
And it was a crease violation, so yeah, Carpenter got into the crease. A lot of lines on this field tonight, yeah. Man up for another 15 seconds. Now they get the goal. And it's Cameron Moulay, who is the man-up specialist for Duke with his 3rd of the year.
He called this one, Cotter, pregame. Moulay comes in on the extra man with Cambador no longer in the lineup. Moulay plays his role. Double crease they end up with. And he just a little one-touch from a severe angle on the extra man. So Duke's depth is a team strength. Now, that's not uncommon this year in the ACC. Carolina is extremely deep on offense. Syracuse has a lot of depth, and so does Duke, and they're showing it.
Depth of the face-off X as well, so we're seeing Naso, although he gets beat here in High Point. Now we'll try and go quickly. Man, Maia just has a quick shot, doesn't he?
I like
Adler's been
Maia,
sharp.
55.
Yeah.
55 in black. He does a lot of things. He's a tenacious rider, a great goal scorer.
Talk about players settling in here at Duke and all the great competition they had leading up to the season and really even through this first month of the season. Mike Adler, the transfer from St. Joe's in goal, has really established himself now. Defensive Player of the Week in the ACC for the second time this past week and picking up right where he's left off. He's really hot.
I give him a lot of credit. Remember his first outing, Chris, he got yanked against Denver. He got pulled in his first outing as a Blue Devil. He's bounced back strong.
Now Sowers back at X. Looking to get free. He does and scores. That is quintessential Michael Sowers.
You can't cover him. You can't cover him. Little handshake and hug for Nakai. Split dodge, right to left. Bye-bye. See you later.
Get in front. Get in front now. Get in front of the net now.
O'Connell back at the face-off X. As the final second of that first quarter rattles off the clock. A successful one for the Blue Devils. They took the first punch from High Point, survived it, and then thrived. 7 different goal scores in that first quarter, 8-2 Blue Devils. He telegraphed that that's coming, won't he?
Well, I judge him by the music that he comes on our conference calls with or our Zoom calls with. And this week it was Bruce Springsteen's Human Touch. He felt it was fitting of the pandemic.
That's something you don't see very often. A wrestling match this year with the new face-off rules. O'Connell is able to keep it in bounds. Looked like initially the High Point was going to get possession, but now it's the Blue Devils.
Coach Danowski started off as a middle school teacher on Long Island. I mean, he is an educator at heart, from the classroom now to the lacrosse field. Started at CW Post and then at Hofstra, and then of course here at Duke. And he takes every opportunity, Chris, to teach. So whether it's the music he's playing before practice or whether it's a talk at the end of practice, I mean, he is a teacher through and through.
As is Owen Caputo's dad, an assistant coach on the team. Caputo now with the ball in his cross, number 13. His brother Jake also on the team, a defensive midfielder. Caputo got his left hand free and missed, but Duke is there to back it up. Aiden Denenza from St. Anthony's, number 88, super freshman. So is this guy, Brendan O'Neill. That's a big shot. Wow. That's his second hard shot of the night. Both of them have found the back of the net.
I mean, this is a disaster if you're High Point's defense. And John Danowski's guys get ball reversal to O'Neill, who's running downfield. Look at the approach. 60's got to come out there and try to stop the freight train coming at him. Are you kidding me? O'Neill gets to the middle of the field, jump shot, paints the corner. That's a viral highlight from Brendan O'Neill, whose high school career was without parallel. Eye-popping goals that he scored both at St. Anthony's and playing club. Most hyped freshman that I can recall, Chris, since I've been covering the sport.
Naso now winning it to himself. Will he take a shot? Gets it out to O'Neill. He fires and hits the far corner.
He might have a date with SVP later tonight. Keeps this up.
How about
nice
the
handle
celly
off the
too?
face-off.
Like, yeah, I can
again,
do that.
the subtle head and hand fakes there, where he's kind of looking low. Parker Green takes the bait, goes down, and the ball's over his shoulder. That's the sophisticated release that I was talking about Brendan O'Neill. Who's quickly got a hat trick in this game. He's working goalies. He's using his eyes and his body language to trick goalies. Goal is good. I think this penalty's on the goaltender, who gave him a little hip check afterwards.
Yep, little how's your father. Looks like that's going to go on Joel Skirbo.
Yeah, there's a good look at O'Neal. You know, week one, I thought I was most impressed with the hustle plays he made. Chris, the ground balls, the riding. And now we're seeing his offensive game just skyrocket.
Davis Sampier winning the initial draw, but then loses it. This could be dangerous, really dangerous. O'Neal, forget about it.
Natural hat trick for O'Neal. 3 goals at 3 different varieties. Fast break, multiple pumps, and a dunk. He's 6'2", 230. He's got the body of a college senior. Style brings back memories of John Grant Jr., Mark Matthews. He is now Zion Williamson on this campus.
Dino told a great story about practice where O'Neal was in a situation to take a shot, and Dino was like, how do you want to shoot that? And O'Neal was giving him what he thought he wanted to hear in terms of the answer, and Dino kept asking him, how do you want to shoot it? Before finally O'Neal said, well, I want to shoot it behind the back. So Dino said, then shoot it behind the back. And I don't give that advice to any freshman, but O'Neal is the type of guy that we want him to know, we trust you, just play your game.
He's worked at his craft. I remember seeing him for the first time in the Warrior World Series of Youth Lacrosse when he was a middle schooler out in Denver. And the Team 91 of Long Island won the championship. And he was eye-popping, just a...
Good save by Green on O'Connor. Look at O'Connor battling for the loose ball, though.
High Point's
That's going to be a slash. That's going to be a slash. Arcona's in net now for High Point, taking over for Parker Green. This is going to be a delayed call against High Point.
See what Nakai Montgomery does with this matchup now. He's been really good this season at drawing double teams and moving into a teammate.
Easily beating Skirbo. And a nice feed and a finish by Robertson.
I mean, that's textbook. And the big music fan gets to play the guitar. This is why Nakai Montgomery is having an outstanding season. You plug in the tape, he's doing all the little things. Beats his man easily, dusts him, leaves him with distance. The double team comes, throws an accurate pass to Robertson, who I talked about earlier, his IQ. He knows the way defenses rotate, and he finds the soft spots. He presents a target, and Nakai puts that assist right on the money. That is, he is doing it this year. Nakai Montgomery, in my eyes, one of the top 5 midfielders I've seen because of the versatility in his game, Chris.
Duke shooting 12 of 20, putting on a clinic this evening in Durham, 12-2, all Devils.
24 seconds, the lefty, Bayshore, Long Island, went to St. Anthony's High School. And I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be in the Duke record book alongside guys like Max Quinzani, Zach Greer, and Justin Gutterding. His willingness to play team offense and the variety of skill sets. I mean, again, big, fast, strong, effort. It's the whole package. Hyped for a good reason. He's living up to the hype.
This man is 23 is Sowers, 34 O'Neal.
Any doubts about Duke right now, folks? Wow. This is pretty good. I mean, I'm watching them on tape the last couple days. You know, they beat Towson, Air Force, and Richmond. Really have a feel for this kind of firepower, this kind of dynamite. This is ridiculous.
Now Sowers up top.
I mean, this league this year is exceptional. Hughes can score. Carolina's offense, a thing of beauty. Virginia, great athletes.
See if Duke can get one shot before this man upends. Sowers just tried to thread the needle that time. Couldn't hit his man. It'll be a turnover, and that penalty was expiring. And now, let's see what High Point can do. This game was 2-2. Remember, folks, High Point came out smoking, winning face-offs, putting shots on goal, and it has been all Duke since. 11:08 left to go here in this second quarter. We've got a timeout. Coach Torpy wants to talk things over. Braid Maillet, the young Canadian freshman, haven't seen much of him as High Point just hasn't been able to get anything going offensively.
Yeah, well, I like the timeout from Coach Torpy. It's a program we have a lot of respect for. Them stepping up this year, adding 4 ACC schools to the schedule. They've beaten these schools in the past, as we said in the Open. 2019, they beat Duke and Virginia. This game's gone a little sideways. That's okay. They got student-athletes from everywhere, whether it's Colorado, Illinois, Nevada, Michigan, Texas, Tennessee, Minnesota. Asher's from Colorado. So he's Canada, Ontario. And they're finding gems, and they're building a strong culture here. They got playmakers. I like their style. They're aggressive.
Here's Hunter Vines, the young man from Tennessee, Elizabethton, Tennessee. 4 goals on the year in that second midfield unit. Now inverted up top to Rogers. Solver, one of those you were mentioning. He's from Kingwood, Texas, rather. Rogers will work one-on-one back to his left beautifully. Wide of the cage. Solver was there initially, and now trying to pick up the loose ball is Coughlin. First time we've even mentioned his name in this game, number 50. Officials are going to want to look at each other, and no call yet as to who gets possession. It'll be Duke possession. Now they change the call. Nolting will put it in play. He looks to use that big body, now backing his defender up. Got it on to Adler. Just shovels it aside. Here comes Jake Caputo.
A nice job by Caputo on the run out, sensing that his window of opportunity was shut, and he circles back and throws it to the goalie. But the initial defense, Chris, was strong. Kenny Brower's covering Asher Nolting tonight. I thought it would be JT Giles Harris, but they put the lefty Brower against the righty Nolting, and they like that matchup. Brower, the number 2 inside lacrosse recruit in his class. He's now a sophomore, basically. Played 8 games last year.
Yeah, young man out of Massapequa. Coach Danowski and his son Matt Danowski, the offensive coordinator. By the way, we should congratulate him on a great playing career. Just announced his retirement the other day. So Matt now concentrating on being the OC here at Duke with his dad on his staff.
Matt Danowski has been a staple of lacrosse, college and pro.
Caputo finds the back of the net. It's a family affair here tonight in Durham.
This is a snappy release. There's his dad, Ron. Double team, drawn, move it on. If the defense doesn't rotate, I step in and rip it, and that's what Owen does here. Plant foot, just a wrist shot. Not a long, elongated, slow home run-like swing, Chris. Just like a slap shot. Boom, the ball's out, and it's sudden. Makes the goalie's job much harder.
O'Connell again. Will he take a shot? He will. Just over the top of Arcona that time. A lot of mustard on that shot.
O'Connell's a great story. Started his college career at the University of South Carolina as a Gamecock on their club team. You ever play them, Cotter, when you were at Georgia Tech?
Yeah, oh yeah. MCLA stalwarts, Gamecocks.
Played for South Carolina club program for 1 semester. Ultimately decided that he wanted to give lacrosse a go and ended up at Holy Cross, where he put up just mind-boggling numbers in 2019 and 2020. I love that campus in Columbia.
It's nice. Below the gnat line, though, you don't want to be there, May, June. Better in the fall. Now an opportunity for early offense for High Point. Will they find something here? They are on a scoring drought of almost biblical proportion right now. Last goal was at 7:08 of the first quarter.
That's been really a signature trait of this Duke defense this year. These long scoreless streaks. shutout quarters and beyond.
Especially in the middle of the game, it seems.
Second quarter, they've been outstanding.
Sit, Tom. Here you go, Tom. Lefty. Back, lefty.
Here's Russell. 25 to shoot. Over to Vines. Nolting. He bull rushes his defender. Couldn't get a shot through, though. You can hear that one.
Got numbers right now.
Just behind Nakai. Right through the box. Here comes High Point. That's Skirbo, defensive midfielder. Now he'll change out.
The big number 19 on defense. Another lefty inside right now. He's in the slot. That's Wilson Stevenson getting some run tonight.
And good for him.
Got some long lefties on defense.
And they got Nakai Montgomery hung up on the defensive side of the field. See if High Point can take advantage of it.
He's fine, Chris.
Not your average offensive midfielder.
Duke's defense
JT Giles
really
Harris
good.
doing his thing. Yeah.
Really good tonight. Man to man.
7 turnovers.
Really solid on ball. Like nobody's getting run around easily.
Caputo calling for it as he gets to the middle of the field. High Point defense in a little disarray here as Arcona barking out orders, trying to get everybody settled up. Here's Caputo now inverted. Back over to Sowers with Clayton Kroll on him, number 19, as he has been all night. Sowers was trying to work a little two-man game there with the freshman Denenza.
Yeah, trying to get a switch of the matchup. Trying to make the defense switch.
Sowers comes up field and scores. That's twice, almost a carbon copy of his first goal of the night.
Who needs a pick? Like they set a pick for him, and there's just more traffic for him. Second time through, just a speed dodge. I mean, he's able to turn the corner and get his shoulders, find just a little bit of a crease there, and shoots top side of the defender, who makes him pay the price. But he basically gets to the middle of the field. Michael Sowers, hyper speed. This young man.
It seems like he gets so low when he shoots that shot. I mean, he's 5'9", 165 pounds, listed. But it seems like if you're a goaltender, you can't even see him until it's already released.
Well, you know, I think some defenders who don't bend well, who can't bend their knees and sit down and get down low on his level and his hips, have problems because they end up riding their cross checks on his shoulders and his neck. You're probably better off to cover him with a similar body type, so to speak.
5 minutes to go here in this first half. A half dominated by Duke. This game was 2-2 early, and the Blue Devils have just taken over. Here's O'Connor, the freshman. That's Lowry. He scored earlier in the game and scores again.
You can tell this team's got good chemistry because guys are coming off the bench and making plays, and the celebrations are energetic, authentic. Lowry's probably turning to Coach Danowski every time he gets a shift. Like, okay, what's it take for me to be back on first midfield, Coach? I score every time I'm on the field. What a cool young man. He's from where the Patriots play.
Yeah, Foxborough.
He's got that Patriot jersey. Last time Duke played in a championship weekend. Craft organization got him a Patriots game jersey.
Violation on the face-off.
Sean's been playing for a long time, man. He's a graduate student. It seems like he's been there like 7 years. And Duke's practice, it's guys like that make their practices incredible because you have so many guys vying for playing time.
Devin Buckshot was able to just get free. Couldn't get it on cage, though.
every drill and every rep in practice then has significance and has meaning. If you dog it, someone's going to take your spot. So they've had strong practices.
Nolting, just in heavy traffic. Got his hands free initially, but then just too many sticks in his grill. Saved initially, but High Point was there to pick it up. Jack Van Overbeek in the game now for the Panthers, number 13. Solver working down the alley, tried to go to his right, now to his right. It's just bad angle over the top of Adler. Eight straight shots for High Point that haven't found their mark. Here's Van Overbeek. Quick ball movement, can we get a shot? They do, and Adler is just sharp.
Buckshot tried to spray an upper corner.
Five saves now for Mike Adler. Sure his older brother Max is proud. Working in the finance department at ESPN.
You don't get to work out with him anymore, do you?
No, I know. We used to work out together. It's a shame. Still living up there in Bristol area, West Hartford, Connecticut. Fun spot. Coach Dino getting some players some playing time. Riley Walsh, good to see 42. Yeah, he's been banged up.
He scores big goals, Riley Walsh. I'll tell you that much. Kid's got confidence.
Plays on the field. There's a shot and a goal. JP Basile. See, there's another player who really emerged last year, was even the quarterback on this attack line for a good portion of those 6, 7, 8 games from last year, Q. We haven't even seen him tonight.
Senior from Garden City, 6'4", had, as you said, 14 assists last year. Slow start this year. There were some contact tracing issues, but he can play. He was their best passer last year. JP's dad, Paul, was a great player at Navy. And he gets his height from his mom, who played volleyball at ECU.
Good win on the X by Colin Hoban. He's doing a pretty good job holding the zone tonight.
He needs help. That's nice. That's nice. And you hear the positive feedback. You know, the one thing that we've noticed about High Point in all their games, man, their bench is engaged. They're super positive. Their managers doing cartwheels and high fives. I love their spark and their energy that they bring from the bench. Everybody.
Solver. Slide came. Looking to move the ball quickly as High Point. They'll get a good shot here, and Adler is right there. Look at that, might have gotten a little iron. As it ricochets all the way out toward midfield, and Duke wins the race to the ball. Remember, on a shot, when that ball goes out of bounds, whichever team is closest to the ball retains possession. That was High Point on that play. Here's Devin Buckshot. He's been banged up too. Had a rib injury in the first game against North Carolina. He's just been kind of trying to get back close to 100%. And Torpy said this was the first week in practice where he felt like he was 100%. Good pass in front. That's a goal. Beautiful look that time by Kevin Rogers and finished by Van Overbeek.
Kevin Rogers, the backside feed. How did he see this? Look, he's leaning in, his eyes are up, boom, right to the backside, catches the defense napping. Hey, Kevin Rogers and Charlie Bertrand, as you look at Van Overbeek, the two transfers in the ACC from D2 Merrimack, D3 Lynchburg, and they have opened some eyes. They have represented those leagues.
And Rogers had 183 points at Lynchburg. I mean, the guy filled it up.
Rogers' dad John, they called him Rocket Rogers, was a good LSM back in the day for, I think, F&M.
Very stylish, relaxing with Peacock and Coach Torpy coming up at the half. You don't want to miss this one. Keep an eye on
him the Rocket.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Rocket Rogers?
Oh, yeah. Not Kark. They didn't call him the Rocket. The muscle in that leg. He was a high-level player and still is now. He's a 6'3" junior from Connecticut, former hockey and soccer player in high school. He's a great player, and it is awesome to see him back on the field.
Yeah, former Duke lacrosse player Dr. Bill Ricci, who's the chief of orthopedic trauma service at Hospital for Special Surgery in New York, performed the initial surgery on that broken leg, and Stevenson has just worked so hard to come back, and great to see number 19 here in action tonight. High Point looking to build on their first goal in seemingly forever, breaking a 14-0 run by the Blue Devils. Right around 21 minutes scoring drought here as we're in the final 25 seconds of this first half. Solver can't get anything going here. Pushed out by Lindsay. Now Buckshot, again, doesn't get through. Duke blocking shots like they're a hockey team blocking pucks. Final 6 seconds. Can the Blue Devils get a shot off? Horn sounds to end the first half. Q 16-3. Goals on 3 shots, couple of helpers as well, a couple of goals rather for Sowers. And Robertson just continuing right where he left off. Now has 19 goals on the year and continues to shoot at a very high rate. Everybody really cooking for Duke in that first half, Q. There was really, did you see any weakness on this team at all?
No.
Anything that Coach Danowski would look at and say, boy, we really got to fix that this week?
No, much improved from game one that we saw against Denver where they beat the Pios by 2 goals. The pieces are starting to fit of this puzzle, and that attack unit that's been so productive. Robertson does his job. He's the shooter. He's the slot player. Sowers is the quarterback from behind the net. O'Neal can beat you in a lot of different ways. So this team is putting it all together. You see the coaching that's gone on in their first 6 games. Players in the right spots. I'm seeing good effort. Love the chemistry. I see no glaring weaknesses right now.
Charlie O'Connor got his hands free before the defender was able to make up ground, and Acra just barely got there. Duke will keep possession, though. Also had Naso and O'Connell winning faceoffs in that first half, sharing the responsibilities at the dot, and Mike Adler was also up to the task in net. Lowry with a couple of goals. Will he get a hat trick here? Up front, Michael Sowers. He'll score in a whole different variety of ways, as he just showed right there.
This is textbook. Team offense. Double team drawn, move it to the adjacent man, and now the defense is trying to recover and get back to neutral, basically, get back to where they started. But they're vulnerable until they can reset and find their matchups. So it's Lowry draws the double team, unselfishly kicks it to the next man, who then becomes the attacker. He then finds the weakness in the defense. That times it was Sowers in the slot. Great team offense.
Third assist of the night for Nikai Montgomery. Third goal for Sowers. Nolting.
Chris, that's the structure and the discipline that I think I tried to talk about early in this show. Duke's got a real vision about how they want to play the sport of lacrosse. Fundamentally sound. Capitalize on your mistakes. Yeah, be a playmaker within our scheme. And then just do the right things. Make the simple play. And all of a sudden, you got 17 goals, and it's early in the third quarter.
Here we go, Black.
There's Buckshot. Got a shorty on him. Can he take advantage? Trying to work his way around the crease to Asher Nolting. Rolls defended nicely by Kenny Brower. Now up top. Shot. Adler is there. Adler's there again. Beautiful saves by Adler. Unfortunately, Duke wasn't able to clear it, so it'll stay with High Point.
Adler, as you said, the graduate transfer from St. Joe's. I believe he's in the Fuqua school here. He's St. Thomas Aquinas, a great football school in Florida.
7 saves on the night so far for Adler. Pass
very
goes
good
wanting. It'll be a turnover.
Good surfer. Surfers have excellent core strength and balance. You saw it on that reaction off the rebound. Boom, he got right back up to his feet.
JT Giles Harris, now the long pass. Ooh, big hit. Robertson's able to keep possession, though. Now he'll fire a shot. Duke scores again. That's Jake Caputo.
He's a little bashful on this take, Chris, because he's cradling in and look at him like, no one's open, no one's open, no one's covering me either. I'm going to step in and rip it. It's like, well, kind of let me shoot this, didn't they?
Well, did you see his brother? Owen looked like he indicated with his left arm, shoot it. And then he was the first one there to congratulate his younger brother. All smiles on that Duke bench. Yeah, they know it. Colin Hoban, who's done yeoman's work at that face-off X. That's really been a bright spot tonight for Coach Torpy. And he's been trying to find someone that can win face-offs. High Point has used 8 different face-off men so far this year in just 4 games.
They have, and whether it's Davis Sampier, Hoban, Tommy Meehan, A.J. Kiernan, it's going to be important in the SoCon, especially against Richmond. Richmond's more of a slow-down type team than High Point. Richmond's going to try to win draws and possess the ball.
Big shot and a goal. That's Hunter Vines. Young man from Tennessee finds the back of the net.
Vines has been impressive in this early season. Great speed, junior from Tennessee. He can ISO, he can invert. That is attack from behind the net. Now he shows a little range and velocity on the shot, using the earth. Beating Adler down low.
Michael Ippolite on the assist for High Point. Something positive for them here in the third quarter. Jordan Ginder taking this draw for Duke. And we got an injured player here for High Point on that draw. This looks like it might be Joel Skirbo holding his shin, and that is the D. Mitty, junior out of Swedesboro, New Jersey.
Sometimes on faceoffs you have the wing players coming in wing to wing, and there's some pretty vicious collisions with bodies going in opposite directions.
And you can see Skirbo's in a little bit of pain there. We'll show you how it happened. He was able to walk off mostly under his own power, so that's good cue. Looks like we got a turned ankle here.
Yeah, something you don't see that often is stepping on across the plastic and twisting an ankle. Lacrosse combines so many elements, whether it's the contact, not the collisions of football, but there is contact in this game, the strategy of basketball, the grittiness of hockey, and that's why it's super fun to play. Kids love it. This is a sport that, at its core, once you pick up a stick and you give the patience to master the craft, it is just so much fun to play, and it's never the same game twice.
High Point ball at the time of the whistle, so the Panthers retain possession.
Just in this possession, you'll see elements of skill.
Like that. First time we've seen Maea, who is so skilled around the net, but it looks like they're going to wave it off.
So you see speed, you see skill, you see ferocious checks, and then creativity as well.
So Maea called off for being in the crease. Tough break for High Point. They were able to get back defensively, though, and prevent fast break points by Duke. But now let's see the Blue Devils, and Brennan O'Neill had himself a sensational first half, number 34 with the ball in his cross. Sowers now from up top. Benenza. Sowers with a short stick.
His ability to cut, that is to decelerate and change directions with a hockey stop. He'll break your ankles.
Tried to quickly get it inside to Dyson Williams, just didn't work out. Clothier now. Good anticipation by Duke on the steal. Robertson. Up front. And there's our new goaltender for High Point, Bo Hesmovich, with a nice save. Welcome to the game.
From Charlotte, North Carolina.
Torpy taking advantage of playing against a quality opponent out of the ACC, getting his team some minutes in a game that's been out of hand here for a while.
Well, I tell you, this whole preseason, or early part of the season, I should say, has been a real benefit. I give them credit for stepping up and scheduling. 2 against Carolina, 1 against Virginia, and a game against Duke. They have basically become a de facto ACC school, Chris, in terms of their COVID testing. So they've had to rise to the level of the ACC schools. That's gone tremendously.
Yeah, not a single positive test. Sowers! Whew, wow.
Transition. Duke taking that from goal to goal really quick.
Number 23, Michael Sowers, scores for Duke.
Nice outlet. Good catch. Brower's played strong today. 43 in white, the lefty from Massapequa. And then look at that ball matriculate up the field. Diagonal passes. About 20 yards in length. I mean, that ball goes from goal to goal in like 4 seconds, and Sauer with the hammer at the end. But getting back to High Point, to play 4 games of this magnitude, to go through the testing necessary, these are all day trips too. I mean, they just hop on a bus, and so I love it because it shows flexibility, agility in this COVID era, and that's where you come up with solutions. And lacrosse is better for John Torpy scheduling these games.
Duke goes quickly, and when you go quickly with that guy right there, it's going to end up in the back of the net quickly.
20. O'Neill with 5 on my score sheet, running out of room. Face-off goal, wing shot. Again, the change of levels. It's a low release, a sidearm shot. Look where the ball ends up, above the goalie's shoulders. So Brennan O'Neill he's got magic. And he's made goalies really struggle tonight.
Second goal of the game, too, Q, from that tough angle out on the wing. He, like Sowers tonight and throughout his whole career, we've seen he scores from a variety of different spots. Turner Upgren now in goal for the Blue Devils. Adler's done great work tonight.
There's a reason that O'Neill drops his stick on that shot. He's trying to get the goalie to drop his hips and drop his knees and drop the head of his stick to open up a top portion of the goal. Earlier, it was the head and shoulder fake, looking down at the goalie's feet and then shooting it above his head. So he's working these guys. He's manipulating them. He's giving them body, stick, and eye signals that are tricking these goalies. It's terrific. It's a pro-level player you're seeing as a freshman in college.
And he was showing you the speed there. Ball movement by the Blue Devils. 14 different players have scored for the Blue Devils. 14 different players have a point for the Blue Devils, and it's going to get to be, I have a feeling that number's going to grow here exponentially in the next quarter and a half. Robertson trying to work his way in. 10 seconds to shoot for Sowers.
We have the same matchup tomorrow night, Chris.
Oh, look at this. Sowers, no chance, but he couldn't get the shot on net. And with just 2 seconds to shoot, I have a feeling Duke's just going to dump this in the corner. And they do. Yeah, we do have a heck of a matchup tomorrow night.
It's Duke and High Point women's. Myself and Sheehan Stanwyck Birch, we have that call at 5. And then at 7, this is on the ACC network, we've got Virginia and North Carolina. And really probably you'd say the biggest conference game so far this season, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's just so much anticipation for this one, too. And these two teams are going to go up and down the field.
Chris Gray of North Carolina, Matt Moore. Connor Schellenberger's done a nice job for Virginia. 2 really good offenses. Carolina's undefeated, dating back to end of, 2019. They're undefeated with Chris Gray and Will Bowen in the lineup.
Yeah, their last loss was to Virginia in the ACC championship game in 2019. Freshman goaltender in Krieg, too, for North Carolina, is going to face a lot of rubber. As have these Duke goaltenders tonight, but they've been up to the task. First it was Adler, now Upgren's sharp. Jump shot, there was Upgren, got a little piece of it. It'll stay with High Point.
There you see the numbers for Turner. He is a grad student. Been around for a long time. Lefty out of Minnesota.
Try to force it inside, cannot. JT Giles Harris, as he has done 1,000 times in his career, coming out of traffic with the ground ball. 13 turnovers now for High Point. Basile. That time it was Walsh on the spin shot. Moulet giving chase. Loses the race to the end line. High Point with the ball. May have seen the last of Robertson and Sowers on the night. A 16-goal lead with 5 minutes left to go in this third quarter. Dolting looking inside. That's Buckshot. Maea gets it back. Up top to Buckshot. Fires. There's Upgren. The clear successful for the Blue Devils. Yeah.
That's a really good clear. I love the way the midfielder in the middle of the field, they're 12 and white, comes back to the ball and stays relative and doesn't run away from his defensive mates who may be getting pressured down low. That is terrific. Staying relative to the ball, working your way back, almost like a receiver running a comeback route.
Basile now the facilitator. Crossfield, big shot, and a goal from Kevin Quigley.
Nice pass by Walsh. The assist, Basile. Skip pass to the weak side. Pro hop from Quigley, the righty from New Jersey. This guy played a ton as a freshman, 19 goals. North-south Dodger, he can get down that right-handed alley. He's logged a lot of miles on this roster.
Yeah, you see first goal of the season, right?
Yeah,
seen a lot of that tonight.
On the bench. It was Nakai Montgomery giving him a hug, and I thought it was interesting what Coach Janowski talked about Nakai's leadership at practice.
He called him a Matt Danowski clone. High praise. Basile again.
That's one thing I missed this year, just being able to go out just to watch these guys throw the ball around on a pregame practice, to get that in-person view of a Brendan O'Neill's release. What's it like in person? We see it on TV. It looks great. How fast is Sowers in person when he makes those cuts at X? You know, how big is a Kenny Brower when he DJs in the corner? You know, those little nuances.
Yeah, that's always the thing. Like a guy like Charlie Bertrand, who we have tomorrow night, the Virginia-North Carolina game. I didn't realize he was that big, you know, because you don't see him play when he's playing for Merrimack. Now that you're seeing him in a Virginia uniform, you're like, good Lord, this guy's 6'3", 230.
And you think about, like, well, the PLL draft is coming up this week. But you think about the NFL draft, and we've covered, you know, the Senior Bowl together. Those scouts, they want to be down on the field. They want to be as close as possible evaluating these athletes. And I feel the same way with what we do.
Drake hits iron. Was he pushed into the crease? No, they're just going to call him in the crease, and it'll go over to High Point. 11 turnovers on the night now, Duke.
We were at practice last year prior to the Air Force game, and the manager at Duke, I got to give a shout out to my guy, Manny Meltzer. He's the best. Manny got me an umbrella. It was raining. Coach Tanowski and I were able to spend 45 minutes together. And by the end of practice, I realized that Manny was the general manager of this Duke lacrosse program. He is, I mean, a vital part of this operation, student manager.
And think about how much more he's having to do this year with all of the precautions, the protocols, and just having to be careful and the different planning that has to take place. Drake fires it wide.
You know, it was interesting talking to Kirsten Kimmel, the women's coach, today about that and how thankful and grateful all these athletes are to the people in the athletic department. Many of them who have, quite honestly, taken pay cuts, but they're doing things, you know, with the testing, with the safety, with all the precautions. So many people behind the scenes are enabling these lacrosse players and other athletes to compete this spring, and those people need to be celebrated.
Still 30 seconds to shoot for the Blue Devils. That's Swerbelis getting some time.
Nice trail check. Kroll's a player, 19 in black. He's a good defender. He scored a goal last week against Virginia. He's making things happen.
Yeah, Kroll's he had the unenviable task of D'ing up Michael Sowers on the night.
He's better for it. This High Point program has their eyes on the SoCon championship. Back in 2019, they went 13-3 with wins over Duke and Virginia. Didn't make the NCAA tournament. I got a feeling, Panther Nation, that we're going to see you again in May.
Rogers now gets his right free. Just whistles it wide. That's an ever-improving conference. I mean, you got Richmond and High Point at the top. You've seen Jacksonville and Mercer.
Mercer's
and
much
talking
better
to Coach
now.
Coach Bresci thought that Mercer was the third best team in that conference. And
I agree.
Jacksonville's not bad either. Yeah. When they're healthy, we didn't even see them at 100%.
They were tough. I liked Mercer. I thought they fought.
Well, that's Asher Nolting right there to a T, isn't it?
Not sure. Kenny Brower kind of went down at the end of this play. Slow to get up. Doesn't look good. Nolting's, he's got a lot of power. He's a power forward, okay? He's going to back you into the goal. You see Brower go down at the end. I'm not sure. There's a nice spin move. Shooting through the check. Nolting. 6'2", 210, Colorado. Well, he's 210 when he started school. He's a little more than that. He's a great high school golfer who started playing lacrosse as a third grader. He's a really good golfer. What I like about his lacrosse game, Chris, we were talking about before the game, he sees guys open. Like, he can forecast player movement, like almost like a quarterback does in football.
Yeah, some of the passes he has made this year, you know, guy's not even close to being open when he releases it, and he throws them open. Pole goal? Nope, just a little bit wide. Looked like Tyler Carpenter fired it.
That's a trait. It's all, you can't really teach it. It's kind of either have it or you don't.
21-5 after 3.
Put together some scoreless streaks this year that really stand out. I mean, when they can hold teams scoreless for 12 minutes and 10 minutes at a time, that's a big, big, big boost with this offense that can just steamroll you.
Game was 2-2 early on, and Duke held High Point scoreless for over 20 minutes in this game while they got it rolling on that side of the field. O'Neal, Robertson, Sowers, you name it. They've been filling it up tonight. 21-5 as they now really have one more game taking on Jacksonville out of the SoCon before heading headlong into ACC play. And as we've seen already, and as we're going to continue to see all spring long, every one of those ACC games is going to be an absolute battle.
Tomorrow night at 7 on the ACC Network. Really interested to see Carolina's offense. The midfielders especially. William Perry, Justin Anderson, Tanner Cook.
Yeah, the interesting thing with both of those teams, Q, you think about with Virginia and North Carolina, they run so much and they exert so much pressure on their midfielders. Who will the second team guys be? Because you're going to have to run those guys out of the box a lot tomorrow night.
Carolina's got great midfield depth. They just continue to put good guys out there. The Schertzingers, Nicholas. They got a bunch of attackmen who are masquerading.
Trippy's been playing a midfield, yeah.
They got those Lance Tillman.
Yep.
There's no shortage. Kelly and Cameron can play on the left wing on attack. They're deep on O. They're not deep on defense, and that's where the interesting thing to me is. Carolina's defense. How do they look against Virginia's O?
Yeah, and Virginia's a little bit deeper defensively.
Yes, Carolina has not played
back healthy, right?
Competition, other than the Denver game. In the last 2 years.
Talking to Coach Bresci earlier in the week, Q asked him what he thought the over-under total would be. He put a 42 number out there.
He did? Oh, I was going to say like 37.
That was
42.
more. Lars was more in that range. Now that's interesting too, because Lars said, "Yeah, well, because he wants to have 40, 45 face-offs a night with those two face-off guys with Tucci and Tyre, the way they've been playing this year. Bresci wouldn't mind having 40, 45 draws a night."
Nolting's good.
This could be a quick goal here, and it is. Maea finishing for High Point.
Asher Nolting, 32, with the black jersey on the left side of your screen with the purple helmets that I love so much. He's got vision. Gosh, and he gets the ball out of his stick. He's great passing in transition and skipping the ball from one side of the field to the next. It's like he sees through and over the defense, and he's always willing to share it. Maea has had just a breakout season. This kid is tough as nails. He's from Windsor, Ontario. That's right across from Detroit. You ever been there, Cotter? I have. They call this guy Mayo. Played for the Windsor Clippers.
Yep.
Indoor.
Yeah, Coach Torpy said this guy will run 7 miles a night. He's just all over the field. Will ride you like a banshee.
I think that's interesting because you
he
assume
isn't
that your crease man on offense is a stationary player. They put a GPS on Dan Lomas a couple years ago, and he ran more than 6 miles during a game as a crease attackman. Well, how's that possible?
Moulay scores again for the Blue Devils as he doubles his goal tally coming into this game, now with 4 on the year, a couple tonight.
Nice goal by Moulay, who scored earlier on the extra man. Dad Jimmy, a longtime pro goalie, very active in the club circuit up on Long Island. It's a nice move by Cam. A little question mark is the answer.
Andrew Bonafide now in goal for the Blue Devils. As we've seen Adler and Upgren, now Bonafide getting some time. Going with Ginder at the face-off X as well. A.J. Kiernan for High Point. Blue Devils are feasting tonight. 6 different players have at least 2 goals. That's Jaden Carey. Midfielder getting some time, number 14 for Duke. quick shot. Swerbalist. Couldn't beat Hesimovic. Hesimovic is a big fella.
We're going back to Lomas. Over 6 miles during a game as a crease attackman. Okay, how's that possible? Well, 2 things. Riding, okay? He's running back and forth between goalies and defenders and back to the midline, so he's hustling on the ride, on the forecheck. And then cutting during a 6-on-6 set. You see 13 right now for High Point's their crease man. He's just vacated the screen, but your crease attackman always needs to be moving. You're not it's not a stationary spot. You're cutting to occupy defenders.
Nolting now looking to attack from X. Now he's goal line extended. Slide looked like it wanted to come. Couldn't quite get there. Lamb now fires it wide.
The misconception is, why should I cut? I'm not open. Well, you're dragging a defender down, let's say, to the goal line extended. It's opening up space behind you. So maybe someone that opens up a skip lane or the guy behind you, and you're occupying a defender.
That's patented shovel shot there by Asher Nolting. We've seen that so often, and he gets a goal here using it. Third of the night for Nolting.
Left-handed this time. Wants his right, comes back, but then keeps the stick and backhanded. Little creativity. He's got all the tricks.
Who does he remind you of, Q? Does he remind you of Cloutier? Just size, and to your point, he has the tricks. Quick goal by Basile.
The better passer.
Yeah.
Face-off goal. That Ginder, junior from New York City, out the front side. I mean, Duke's mid-range shooting tonight, Chris, has been just amazing. It's been really accurate, technically sound. Guys taking for the most part, taking like 3/4 to overhand shots down to, painting low corners. They put in the time. They really emphasize the proper shooting technique.
23 goals on 44 shots.
Now, some guys like
still winning faceoffs.
like a Deemer Class or a Brennan O'Neill are given leeway to throw behind the backs and throw sidearms. But that's kind of got to be earned, right? You get that feeling with Coach Danowski?
I think with most guys, yeah. Unless you have a guy like O'Neill who you have to say don't be afraid to be as creative as you can be, because you can be that creative. Because Danowski said, look, when other players have come in, even great talented players like Miles, for example. Miles was just such a great athlete that Miles could beat you with an overhand shot. So you don't need to screw around. As Riley Walsh this time gets the goal.
Riley Walsh sighting, stick in a corner. I said it earlier. Riley Walsh is a confident player. He's immune to pressure. Okay, he's scored a lot of big goals in his career at Duke. He just rides.
Defense. So North Carolina, Virginia on Thursday, Cuba. We got some big games coming up in the Big East and the Big Ten also.
This is a great weekend across the country, and it's a sprinkling from different leagues. Obviously, Thursday night, it's Carolina, Virginia on the ACC network. Over the weekend, Georgetown travels to Denver. Okay, the Hoyas are ranked as high as 4 in some polls. Denver's got 2 losses. Remember, early in the year, we showed some games where Denver came east to the Carolinas, and they lost to Duke in North Carolina. They've gotten a lot better, have the Pioneers. So that's a great game. Undefeated Hoyas, young, solid defense. You got Maryland and Rutgers, battle of the undefeateds in the Big Ten. You get to see Hopkins hosting Penn State on Saturday on ESPNU. I believe that's at noon. I'll be calling that game. And then you're working Sunday as well, right?
Yeah, Michigan, Ohio State. Last time those two teams played, Michigan beat Ohio State up in Ann Arbor, prevented the Buckeyes from going to the Big Ten tournament back in the 2019 season. So, yeah, it could be payback for the Buckeyes. And I tell you, it's an opportunity to see upstarts. I mean, Rutgers has been knocking on the door so many times here these last 5 or 6 years, Q. Is this the year that Coach Breck really has them in a position to challenge in the Big Ten? They've played like it so far, and Connor Kirst makes them a different team out of that midfield spot, doesn't he?
Well, there's no non-conference games, so as it sits right now, worst-case scenario in my eyes, they'll finish 2 in the Big Ten, if not win it all by beating Maryland. They're really good. I was impressed with their attack. Sherilyn Beatties, Kirst, Kieran Mullins, just veterans. As Muley
with the hat trick. Yeah.
Rutgers is legit. Good middies. Connor Kirst is playing attack. This kid, they got Shane Knobloch tearing it up as a freshman.
Yeah.
They got David Sprock. Transfer face-off man from St. John's. And a defense that really hasn't given up that many bad goals. They can run. They can play slow. I think they're hungry. They got an injection of some fresh blood from some other programs, some transfers. The Kirst brothers, obviously. And they're going to be dangerous. They're fun to watch, too. Their announcers on their live stream, I love. They're like my favorite live stream announcers. These Jersey guys. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. They're over the top.
Face-off violation after Muley picks up the hat trick. Georgetown, 2 years ago, Q and I did their tournament game at Yale, and they played really well. And that was sort of like the coming out party for Caraway and company. Last year, they didn't have the competition, early on in the year before the year got canceled. So I think there's a lot of people that still see them as a little bit of a mystery, even though this year they've dominated out of the gate.
Yeah, they've dominated. I watched their game a week and a half ago against Mount St. Mary's on a Tuesday. I love the defense. Gibby Smith hasn't been playing. This kid Donaldson is legit. Owen McElroy between the pipes is great. Coach Warren coaches defense. I mean, he can coach defense. That's as good as I've seen. They have a shorty named Zach Geddes, who's just incredible. Maybe the best shorty I've seen all season. So I like their D. Chris, I think their offense is a year or two away, though. They're really young. Can they score against quality defenses? We'll see. This is a huge test. You get on a plane. You got to go out to the Mile High City and face Bill Tierney, whose team is kind of gaining momentum. So I'm really interested to see that game. I think it'll be close.
Everybody feasting tonight. That's Phil Robertson. Like we said earlier, Q, it's a family affair tonight in Durham. The Caputo brothers scoring. And now it's time for Phil to join his brother Joe on the tally sheet.
Gin, Phil. Princeton transfer. Big family of lacrosse brothers. Matt and Ian played at Virginia and Maryland. All played at St. Anne's Belfield in Charlottesville. Where Connor Schellenberger played. Doug Terring. Good program.
Your Coach Torpy, what are you working on here in the second half? Final 6 minutes of this fourth quarter. What are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, you're playing some second line guys, and you're hoping that someone has some success and can build some confidence off of that. So much of offensive play comes from confidence. Whether you score a nice goal in practice, whether you beat a guy in a game, and you can just build off of that. The great dodgers, the great shooters, when they dodge, they think they're going to have success. That's hard. It's hard to coach that. You've got to just get out there and do it. Pretend you're in the backyard like you were when you were a kid.
Jackson Clay here with the ball in his cross, 34. One of those second line, third line guys. Yeah, you just want to see something from your depth, don't you? Because you're going to need some of these guys come SoCon play. That's Isaac Newland. He lets it go with the shot clock winding down. He'll stay with High Point, but just 2 to shoot. He'll dump it in the corner.
Coach Stanowski thought it was interesting, his emphasis this year during the COVID season. What do you say? Common sense, maturity, and discipline. And that's as simple as it gets right now for these athletes who are tested 6 times a week. We're being asked to behave like no other generation has ever had to behave off the field. And we saw it in college football. COVID has taken a lot of the fun out of being a college athlete.
Yeah.
But you still got the game. You know, you live for the game. You live for that. You got to take joy in the box sandwich they'll give you after the game for you to go back to your apartment and eat by yourself. You know, and you may get a hug from mom and dad. It's the
discipline cue is having to keep doing it. It's been a year, and you still have to keep doing it. You know, it's like, I know you want to go to a party. I know you want to go to a gathering with your friends, and you haven't done it in a year. You got it a little bit longer. You have to do it for a little bit longer. That's tough.
If you want to continue to play lacrosse with your friends and pursue a national championship, I worry about the teams who fall off the path, who start 2-5. It's going to be harder for those leaders and those coaches to keep those teams disciplined. It's just human nature.
That's what we were worried about with football, remember? I mean, think of how hard it is to play college football as Vines fires one on net.
But at least in college football, you can dangle the NFL over some athletes.
Mm-hmm. The sacrifices you have to make, and the price you have to pay physically, Q. And now you're asking those kids to do that without having, to be able to dangle. In football, is it a bowl game? In lacrosse, is it the postseason? If you can't dangle that in front of them, then why am I making these sacrifices right now?
High Point just got away with too many men on the field. No, exactly. And you saw the way the bowl season was treated this year. A lot of teams, no mas. We had enough. You've asked us to endure this, and we just want our lives back.
JP Basile now working behind the cage, coming off a pick.
Jordan!
Good.
Now Connor Drake upfield. This is going to be a shot by Jaden. Save made by Parker Green, who's back in net for High Point. Jaden Carey on the shot. High Point with the clear. Final 2 minutes in this one. This game was tied at 2 apiece early after Kevin Rogers' goal for High Point, and then Duke just took command. 26-8 as the Panthers put another one on the board.
Kind of what I was referring to earlier, Chris. I think it's Caden Keller, 36.
It is, yes.
Lefty, look away. You catch a goalie, maybe thinking ahead. See the ball, see the ball, see the ball. Don't guess or anticipate or assume that a guy like Keller is going to throw it. He shot it, and you're turning and raking. It's not a good day. But Keller, the freshman from Illinois.
Yeah, to your point, here's a kid from Illinois scoring a goal for High Point. Freshman getting some time here at Koskinen.
And conversely, Cam Henry, 3, in the white uniform for Duke. He was an Under Armour All-American, a supremely talented young long pole at 6'4", 200 pounds. Getting some time as well. So this starts the week. I'm a little shocked with this score. I know High Point will be back. I got a lot of respect for these Panthers. Coach Torpy, High Point Nation, we hope to see you in May. You got to win the SoCon. You got to get back by Richmond to get that NCAA tournament bid. These guys came out, Chris, and played 4 hard games against ACC teams. They deserve a lot of credit. Today didn't go their way, but it'll make them better in the long run.
They'll have 9 days before taking the field again against VMI coming up on the 19th of March. Robertson again. 27 goals for Duke. Q, you remember the last time Duke scored 27 goals in a game?
Yeah.
Right? It's right in your heyday,
Yeah.
man.
I was still in high school.
No,
I was still very much in high school.
Barely. I mean, you were rocking a
1986.
mullet. Yeah, you were rocking a mullet and sweats, if I
I
remember
didn't have a mullet
correctly.
until like 88, summer of 88.
March 24th, 1986, they hammered Michigan State 27-3.
Oh, Michigan State. We scrimmaged them back in the day. Bring back Lacrosse, Spartans. Come on.
Sparty won the NCAA national title a couple of years ago. They're
Sparty
ready.
made the NCAA tournament one year. Duke, any doubters in this Duke program this year? Not so fast. ACC is stacked. Duke's got to be considered as one of the top in that grouping. Impressive showing, Chris. This really kind of blew me away. I was not anticipating this kind of score.
Historically, Duke and John Danowski, they usually throw you a stinker early on in the year before ACC play, but not so much this year. And if you thought it might be tonight, you certainly learned early on that it would not be. 7-0 for the first time since 2008. Coach Danowski has this team hitting on all cylinders, offensively, defensively.